that, I sent Baba a message telling him that, look, we have been respecting your stand, but now I think you don't know what you're doing. These are our demands in case you didn't have them. And actually, I shared some of them because what you have been sharing, I shared via WhatsApp and I saw the message. So I think after that, actually, I saw this Philip Itele having space, trying to sanitize Baba. Baba was not for that, and all that. And then I realized that Baba, realized he messed up, and then he's trying to send people to come. So what I'm saying is that, guys, what we were doing, actually, it had more power because these guys, they are kind of afraid of us when you go to the street. Can you kind of talk more of going to the street? Because that's what message that they understand. By doing so, we'll be having something, showing them our demands. That's, guys, we need so and so to resign. We need you to dissolve the cabinet. We don't need CDF because that's where the problem is. I shall see this and this and again and again. The problem also that we have, the reason why we don't have legislation in this country is because the MPs, they have CDF. And they know that they bribe people, they bribe primary teachers, uko ushago, they bribe sub chief, they bribe chiefs. Na wale tuko na sauti tofauti, we can't be heard because they wanatunyamazisha. So what I'm saying is that, can we push more of these things? Because I'm telling you for free that if today CDF imetolewa, hawa mbunge tutakuwa tumewatoa nguvu kabisa, hawatakuwa na pulse because they have nothing to blackmail us. They have nothing. So the money that they're getting, guys, is a lot of billions. I was doing my calculations yesterday after knowing that also the women rep, they have bursary, president have bursary. That's accounts to how many billions? Almost 80 billions. That money can be channeled to our high schools and then education in Aqua free. Why do we need CDF for? So guys, can we kindly, talk more of going to the street again? Hata kama basi tunasema tuko busy, we can still say, guys, on Thursdays tutoke kwa street. This is the only language that the people wanna understand. Jana nilikuwa na watch RUTO bwana, amechanganyikiwa. The guy is turning blacker, black, because he has no power. Guys, let us talk more of Thursday and Tuesdays. I think that will help us because wao tukija hapa hivi kwa online, watu ni wakora, hawaelewi, so they are happy. Me, I'm ready. I should leave I have two sons. I should leave them here and tell their mother, guys, if I come, fine. If I don't come, tell my boys that, I was fighting for better Kenya. You guys, I was fighting for better Kenya. So I'm disappointed to see us now. We are not talking of Tuesday and Thursdays. Guys, let us talk more of this because this is what we want. They know what we want. We want them to dissolve the cabinet. We want them to disband the CDF. We want them to do, we don't want the political appointees because that's where the problem is. So guys, let us focus. Let us fight for what is rightfully ours. Can we kindly see if tomorrow we'll be having this thing? Kwa sababu kesho mimi nitakuwa pale saa 3 if you guys will agree. So kindly let us talk more of tomorrow our demonstrations. Our tulikuwa tumewa disorient, but now we are kind of talking more of kwa online. Mimi sipendi online sana. So thank you guys for giving us the platform. Let us focus more on our demonstrations. Believe you me, we are going to win this thing. Thank you very much for the mic.
Thank you so much, Elijah. Great emphasis there on Tuesdays, IBC Tuesdays and RUTO Thursdays. Guys, remember, every Thursday we're out on the streets. Tuna occupy everywhere, Pia Tuesday. So guys, kesho asubuhi tutakuwa hapa, encouraging everyone, let's get out. Let's bring the nation to a standstill. We must have good governance. We must have the country that we deserve. Let me give the microphone to Generation Z. Johnny Canty, are you there? John Canty.
Yes, good morning everybody, good morning criminals, good morning my fellow Uber guys, good morning. Now, are you getting me, Afro?
Yes, we are.
Good. Let me start by clarifying some few things here. As Gen Z, we are actually partless, leaderless, faceless. We are actually fearless. Why do we say all these things? Fearless, formless, faceless. The government, or to be specific, RUTO, understands the politics of the day. He understands that putting us into normal structures. It will define us. When we are defined by normal structures of leadership here and there, all of us will be weakened. We will be weak. But when we are leaderless, we are actually, like every one of us is a leader, we are being united by an idea whose time has come. The ideas that we have is what actually drives us, is our propelling force, is the leader behind us. So, like you remember, rejecting the finance bill was our leader the last time we were in the streets. Today, as we speak, we must actually remain leaderless, but identify those ideas that are going to unite us, ideas that we are going to push forward. What ideas do we want? Right now, guys, people might think that we've lost focus, but we have not. When you see a ram going backwards, you may think it is fearing, but it is coming back to hit you. So when we are retreating, we are not surrendering. We are saying no retreat, no surrender. We are formless. Some speakers have spoken about being, probably they can be taken down, they can be killed, they can be maimed. Afro yourself, you've actually said that this thing must continue, whether you are there, you are not. We don't have leaders. And as much as we say that we are united by an idea, any person who goes down by any chance, if they go down, another one pops up. So we are here and we are going to achieve what we want to achieve, because right now our ideas should be how to bring down this government step by step. How do we do this? First of all, I want to say thank you very much. Yesterday, President Ruto signed that IBC bill. Right now, we are going to get IBC in place. It is through IBC that we can be able to actually recall those years MPs, the people who are supposed to represent us, who are representing Ruto and his interest. We can actually start by making the king remain naked. If we leave Ruto naked without people surrounding him, supporting him, as we recall, we replace. We recall, we replace. We will change these the laws pole pole until we are there. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna do this before 2027. It is achievable, guys. It's just that we have to remain focused. We are saying that we are tribeless. That is what is uniting Anand youth to rise up against bad government governance by Governor Sir. It is the same thing that is uniting the youth. Somebody please put off your mic. It is the same thing that is uniting Washingishu youth to stand against the Finland scandal. You know, the leadership in this country is rotten, both in opposition and in the government, to the extent that I cannot see one good leader who can stand when this thing sweeps everyone down the ocean. I want us to say this, and I'm very particular. If we remain tribeless, people are going to see the leaders for who they are. If you remain tribeless, you are going to see that when Raila Odinga goes and shakes the hands of Moi, goes and shakes the hand of Kibaki, goes and shakes the hand of Uhuru, goes and shakes the hand of Ruto, and then what are they fighting for? Look at, for example, Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma. What is he tweeting right now? He's speaking, is actually postulating how Ruto is supposed, because they have talked with Raila, how he's supposed to change this government and involve more people in this government, give them positions from opposition and all that. Give me a minute. So please, guys, let us be united by the idea. Let us press on. When we press on, Let me tell you guys, I have enough intelligence to tell me that the police are getting fed up. The army is actually fed up. Everybody, the security apparatus is using are already fed up. At the right time, today, if you went to the streets, only some few excited cop killers can actually go there and try to to shoot. Right now, the police are actually getting it into their head that what we are doing, we are fighting for them, we are fighting for everybody, we are fighting for a better future. And today, if we go to the streets, they are going to protect us. The army will not shoot you when you are not armed. So let us do our thing. Let us pressure. We cannot stay still while people like Linturi are still in office. We cannot stay still while people like Murukomen are still telling us that they are wearing a watch worth 900,000. What shit is that, by the way? Guys, we cannot sit still while Nakumincha here is unqualified and cannot actually pay interns, people who have gone to school. We cannot stay still. We are going on to press on. We are going to bring this country to a standstill. We are not going to destroy. We are going to be peaceful, but we are going to occupy and stop everything from moving. Let's see how long the president will hold on. Let us see how long he can be able to persevere and watch us as we bring this country to a standstill. Don't steal, don't destroy property, because those are properties of our parents, those are properties of our own relatives and friends. They are our own properties. Let us occupy the streets. You don't have to go to state house. You don't have to go to parliament so that they can have an excuse to shoot you because it's a protected area. Let's occupy Nairobi. We stop even a full day of movement in Thika Road. I'm telling you guys, business, everybody is going to turn against this government. The business community is going to be fed up. Everybody is going to be fed up. And after that, Ruto must go. Thank you very much, Efro.
Perfect submission. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Occupy streets everywhere. I'm aligned with that call. Grace, are you finally on the microphone? Can you hear
Yes,
us?
yes.
You go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your submissions, and I thank you for the good work you've been doing. I know it's not easy, but we have to work together. First, I want to point out that we should stop blaming each other. Kama mtu amekosa akuwe corrected, we move forward. We should not allow our leaders to divide us at this particular moment that we want the best for our nation. We should not allow anybody to divide us. That is number one. Number two, I'm not hearing anybody say occupy City Hall. You know, we cannot play with Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city. Nairobi is where businesses go on than any other county. This is the county that collects the highest revenue in Kenya. This is the county also that carries the largest population in Kenya. So I want to hear those things you are complaining about. Sakaja must go. Let us retweet it. Sakaja must go. Let us occupy City Hall. Sakaja must go. Let us occupy each and every county where we want those leaders out, because there is a big problem. We cannot have a situation whereby money is being stolen from the national government, and the small money that has remained to the county also is stolen. So what remains for the common mananchi? And even yesterday, I got an opportunity to speak to a politician. They are not happy with whatever we are doing. I want to tell you for free, they are not happy. Because the ones that are there, they have formed a system whereby they are dealing with a system of stealing and stealing and stealing. And that is one thing we cannot allow. So we have to get the strategies. Number one strategy, we have to mobilize. Personally, I've even started mobilizing people to take votes, because we are not going to wait for 2027. We are doing it now. It's now or never. So we are going to let us start educating people on the importance of taking votes, of taking the ID. and especially the youth, because we carry the largest population. So if we decide that this is what we want, we will get what we want. Now, that is number one. Number two, ongeni na parents, ongeni na watu wenye wako karibu na nyinyi to stop. Don't give those politicians platform to speak to people. They have nothing to say to us. So I don't understand why people are still listening to people like Murkomen. Me, I don't even listen. In fact, when I saw that on television, that people are trying to, he's trying to speak to people, I did not even switch my TV on to listen. I don't want to listen to him. I don't want to. I want him out of the office, nothing more. So strategy number one, we've said that the IBC have been constituted. So what do we do right now? The next way forward is to recall MPs that we don't want, so that we shake this government. And I tell you, if we recall even 4 MPs and they have gone home, this government will know that we are not joking with them. Because the next, it will be RUTO must go. I don't know why people are talking of 2027. For what? These people should fucking leave those offices. They are not working, so they should leave. So we should have, let us mobilize right now and ask people to go, waende wachukue kura. When you are gonna ID size, endeni mchukue kura. We want to recall those MPs so that they go home. Secondly, we want to occupy every ministry, every county that is not, we are feeling they are not doing a good job. Starting with Nairobi, we have to occupy those places and tell them we don't like what they're doing and we don't want them in office. Last but not least, like I said, we should be talking to people. Engage also your parents, because I heard even about that politician talking yesterday, and it was like, tuko na wamama, sisi ndo MCAs tuko kwa ground, sisi ndio MPs tuko kwa ground, na wanasema we can divide you people, and that is not what we want. So we should also find a way. We have to make a movement where we talk to each and every person, educate each and every person, so that we have a good strategy of pushing this government out of office. Lastly, I want to speak to the youths. We have this power and we have energy. If we can even, we can stand in the streets there the whole day, it means we have energy. These people don't have energy. Ours hawana energy, the kind of energy we have. And we don't know how powerful we are. We have the numbers and we have the energy that we need. Let us use our energy to fight for what we want for our people. Let us use our energy to occupy everywhere. I was so disappointed yesterday. I didn't see anybody in the street. We should have a purpose and we should finish whatever we started. RUTO must go. That is the motto. He is leaving. Not anytime, not 2027, now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. RUTO must go. That is the clarion call. The Jumbotron, free Lewis. Guys, in terms of difficulty, we don't remember the words of our enemies. It's the silence of our friends that hurts the most. The silence of comrades. Please do not be complacent. Do not be silent. Retweet that our friend, comrade Lewis Nguni can be released. He was abducted and is being held in Nanyuki. We have 1,000 people on these spaces and the retweets are just 100. That means 900 of us are being complacent. Please, let's not be complacent with the injustice in this country. Let's make some noise. It's simple. Let's retweet and maybe we'll be able to get Lewis some freedom, get his freedom back. These are just basic values enshrined in our constitution that are being violated by this illegitimate regime. And that's why we are saying RUTO must go. Vivian, karibu kwenye mic ni yako.
Asante sana. Good morning, patriots. Mimi naitwa Vivian. I am from Kisumu County, Afrocentric. This is the second time I am speaking on your space, and thank you so much for the opportunity. My thoughts. There are things that we have experienced in this country. I am not a Gen Z, as I keep on saying. I am a Gen X. And I also participated in the public participation for the Constitution when it started. I was a college student then. I have basically been in every possible protest that has happened in this country, specifically within Kisumu. In 2017, the second round of voting, we rallied doctors within Kisumu County and nurses to provide services for people who are going through police brutality over a period of 10 days. We have seen this government work. We have seen these people work. We have seen this group of politicians work. I don't want to call them leaders because they have ceased to be leaders. They have lost the vision of what they were fighting for. So, three things that I would want to bring to light. One, this corruption is not just in the national government, this corruption is everywhere. If you have sat in the county government preparation for any important meeting in your region or county government, you will realize two things. One is that all the events are supported by stakeholders while they have budgets that are running to do those things. So, where does that money go? That is one thing that we have to ask ourselves. Number two, if you sit with people who work in these governments, the county governments, whether the national government or where it is, with this IFMIS, these people usually, at all ends and odds, have two books of accounts. The IFMIS does not work as it should. They have parallel accounting systems, which means that what is reported in your IFMIS that is given to Auditor General and what is actually paid out through other forms is not the same. Ask any contractor, ask any person who is doing business with the county government or with the national government, they will tell you that. Number three, we have had so many commissions, so many. In fact, me, if somebody tells me about dialogue with the government, I don't want to hear. If somebody tells me do business with the government, I don't want to hear. Why? Because those are time buying tactics that will not lead us anywhere. They are trying to pacify the movement. They are trying to reduce the anger that Kenyans are having right now. And if we relent even 1 inch, it is going to bring us so many things in play. Ruto says that he is not into extrajudicial killings. The children that are being killed right now, the ones that are found in dams, the ones that are found in rivers, who is doing that? It is his government. I would like us to stay steadfast. I would like us to fight for this country. This country is for all of us. It is not for Luo, even though I am a Luo. It is not for Kikuyu, even though I am a Kikuyu. And the only language these people understand is the language of peaceful protest in those places. They don't know what to do with this. They don't know. They have no clue. They are tone deaf. They are listening but not understanding. And the more we push and push and push, that is when we get to where we are. It beats me how civic education is not part of our education system. People should know about the Constitution. People should know what it takes for you to be jailed for certain crimes. People should know what their rights are. How do you think our police and our tumishi kwa umma keep on? They keep on, especially people from Vitobodindini. They keep on taking advantage of those people. Why? Because our people are not educated. Our people are not aware of the rules. So I am supporting anybody who is saying that we have to bring civil education to the villages. We have to bring it to our wards. We have to bring it to the spaces where we sit. We have to bring it to our bars. We have to bring it to our entertainment spots. Talk about these things. Let us educate each other and let us stand up for each other. Those are my submissions for Center for today. Thank you so much and keep on fighting, patriots.
Thank you very much, Vivian. That was brilliant. My name is Nkirote. I've been on the co-host section. I didn't say anything much. For now, let's give our speakers an opportunity to air their points. Okay, who's the next person? We have Nobaham. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance. I'm having a little flu, so my voice is not clear. I hope you can hear me. Uh,
Yes,
so I
yes,
will
yes.
I'll just go through some few points. It's good that we have the same ideas because some of the things that I have noted have already been mentioned, so I will not waste a lot of time on them. But one thing is clear at this stage is that the politicians have said there are only two options. We either be silent as Kenyans while they munch on our taxes. The other option is they will take the country to the dogs. So it is clear since we have started this conversation that this is their position. And they are not relenting or they don't care. So because what we are actually asking at this stage is not something that is not doable. We are just saying, please be accountable, get rid of these incompetent people and get, people who are competent and people who are learned. And I see this as not a big thing for them. But as it stands, they have said that
Seems like Nobaham is lost. Who can hear him?
We can't hear him.
All right, sorry for that. We'll probably jump to the next speaker for now as we wait for him.
oh,
So, okay, go on.
can you hear me now? Please, sorry.
Yes,
You can.
yes,
You can.
sure, go on.
Okay, thank you. Um, so my second point is on all we are asking is that the system to work for Kenyans and not for the politicians and their cronies. It's no longer about the Luos, the Kikuyus, the Kales, the Somalis, Muslims and Christians. No, what you are saying is please put in systems that work for everyone. These guys, they steal our money and then they act as demigods in front of our parents. Our parents are scared. They think that if the CDF doesn't come through, then they are doomed. But that's not the reality. If you have systems that work, we will not even need these politicians because everybody will be able to get the things he needs on his own way. So we really need to do civic education at the ground. Kwanza ushago, lazima kila mtu arudi kwao, and then he should educate their villages on how we are planning things to change for Kenya. It's no longer the same. It's no longer about them. Now it's about Kenyans. And then
I think he's getting calls that are interrupting him. So we can go to the next speaker.
oh my God. Anyway.
No, Bam, you can land. You can land if you're back. You can land your point. Umerudi?
Yeah, Nico, I don't know why I'm getting lost. So let me just finish because I think my internet is not strong or something is wrong with my phone or I am being, I don't know, there are a bit of challenges, I think, with the internet these days and some other outside factors also. So I will just say that we should read about what's happening in Burkina Faso. Every one of us should read and see what's happening there. The leader there said, okay, we're no longer buying any vehicles. We are no longer, working for the West. We are working for our people. And they looked at themselves and said, what is their strength? They have seen their strength is in farming, their strength in their minings, but they do this locally. They're no longer transporting their raw materials outside the country. They called whoever is trying to work with them to come and do their work within the country so that they are able to export and not, import everything. What we are doing in Kenya is we are importing everything, and then our raw materials are being exported and sold back to us at a very expensive price. And we don't see how good Kenya is. Kenya can feed the whole of Africa if we have good planners and if you have the right, things. and the right plans. And the last one is on the way forward. I say the way forward is we start, once IEBC is in, we will start recalling our MPs. That's where we start. And once we call an MP, we replace him with idea-based politicians, handpicked solely by us as the youth, because we are tired. We are tired doing the same thing and expecting different results. That is not working. We have been having independence over 65 years, and things are still the same. So, other than that, we have to put pressure to this government to change. Look, they are discussing about things that are not even in the discussions. These guys cannot even read the room. We are not talking about dialogues. We are just saying, please, you have already messed for the last 2 years. Now, going forward, can you unmess your mess? Can you do the right thing now? But they are deaf, they are dumb, they don't give a shit. Actually, the more we talk about the ideas, the prouder they get. The more they, I don't even understand what's happening. Are we talking to people who don't understand? Our point not clear? Are we dealing with mad people? Me, I don't understand. I don't understand because if you give an instruction to my 1-year-old daughter, she understands what I'm saying, but I'm not able to get what's happening with our president and the people who are around him, his advisors. It's like they don't have ears. So guys, thank you very much. I will not take much of your time, and sorry about my voice. And thank you very much, Afro, and the other lady for giving me the chance. Thank you.
You're welcome. I agree with Nobaham because, of course, we are dealing with mad people. These are mad people. For one, they are incompetent. Number two, they are immoral. Number three, they lack humanity. Of course, these are mad people. We don't have any sane person who would slain the other human for standing up for their rights. So I think it would be
allow me to just add one more thing. Allow me to add just one more thing. The fact that they have not mentioned the people killed in all their press conferences. People have died. Kenyans have been killed. They are not even saying one single sorry. What does that mean to us? That, I think, is another point we need to talk about a lot. Our brothers have been killed. Our brothers are being abducted. It will be me tomorrow. It could be you tomorrow. What does that tell us about these people? How comes the discussion is about dialogue, is about, commissions? What are these commissions? We're already saying we have plotted expenditure, but they're all talking about commissions, new people. I don't know. I don't understand really. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Ken. Ken, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Hi.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Afron Kirote. So I'm just going to pick up from where you left, and Kirote, you were saying something about the kind of people we are dealing with, and interestingly, I've come across some tweet from the Standard KTN, Kirinyaga leaders wanting the Mount Kenya region to unite under one political party ahead of 2027. Now, I think these people really do not get us. They seem not to understand. We are past this tribe-based politics. The current dynamics are totally different, but they're still insisting on we need political parties, tribal political parties before 2027. Now, I'll begin by first expressing my dissatisfaction and disappointment in Raila. I've been campaigning for Raila and voting for him for the longest time now. But I'm disappointed because he proved people like Miguna right. People who've been on his back calling him conman. So he's basically proven them right. Now, why don't we want dialogue with the government? I'll try to be as straightforward as possible and as brief as possible. Well, I came across some tweet last week saying that NTSA, the National Transport Safety Authority, cannot account for 1.2 billion shillings. The next day, I came across another tweet saying that NHIF cannot account for almost 8 point something billion shillings. Today morning, I came across some tweet saying that the government cannot account for 1.2 trillion borrowed between 2010 and 2021. Now, we need to give some important context, of course. A significant number of that money was borrowed during the Jubilee government. And of course, we know the current president was part and parcel of that government. So we cannot, we must, we can't say that he wasn't part of that government. He's part of the rest of the burden that they imposed on us. So we are not going to, we are not going to dialogue. If you as a president need to dialogue with people to be reminded of what you need to do as a president, then you do not deserve to be a president. You don't deserve you if I'm, for example, if I'm an architect, I cannot be relying on clients to tell me what to do. A client will basically give me a simple concept, and I'm the one who will execute the concept. I do not need to come to the client and get every bit of information about what to do. So that's something I think Ruto needs to understand. If you cannot do your work as a president, then I think you just need to quit. You need to fuck off, in other words. Secondly, you've killed more than 30 people. And I'm saying you've killed because ultimately the buck stops with the president. You're in charge of the state, and the state includes the state machinery, the police, the intelligence, the military. So you've basically murdered, you've essentially murdered more than 30 young people. I was seeing clips from David Shege's funeral yesterday. For context, David Shege was the first Kenyan to be murdered outside parliament, the one who was shot on the head by a sniper. So why do we need to dialogue with people who've basically killed some of us for asking for something right? We are not asking for anything significant. Tunawaambia we need accountability, we need good governance, then you want to kill us, then you come and say, oh, let's dialogue. What are we dialoguing? We are not talking we cannot talk to people who believe that killing people, using force to suppress others' voices is the best way to go about the issues we are raising. So I think we need to get out of this dialogue phase. Our demands are simple and straightforward. And as a president, I think Ruto knows what we want. We want good governance, we want accountability, and we need justice for those that have been killed. So let's not relent. Let's garner as much energy as we can, and let's push forward with the movement. Thank you.
Great to hear from you, Ken. We are relentless. We are not giving up any time. I want to give you a reminder that I came across hapa. Watu wenye mnajua history. I hope you know this, that Ruto became involved in politics huko 1992 when they were doing the run-up to the general elections ya na alisaidia kufound youth nini hiyo ilikuwa inaitwaje, the Youth for KANU in 1992. That group, it was supporting the presidential candidacy ya nani, ya Moi. I thought you should know. On to the next person. Who is that? I prefer mtu kama anaweza inua mkono so that it's easier for me to see you. I give the mic to De Jure. Is it De Jure? Over to you.
Okay, good morning, fellas. How are you? Good morning to you guys. How are you? Am I audible?
Sure, you may go on.
Okay. Now, my my few points. I want us to appreciate, first of all, and thank God for exposing what we've always suspected, the opposition, the so-called opposition. That is what we call controlled opposition. And now when we look at it critically, we need to appreciate and format our conscience to realize that these are capitalists and capitalist buccaneers. Why do I call them capitalist buccaneers? These are few people who are gatekeepers for the exploiters. The World Bank, the IMF, all those Bretton Woods institutions, you know, the NATOs and all those client states. So now you need to know that what we are fighting is a force bigger than just the local political players, and they've been unmasked. So now what next? What to do? What to do, first of all, we need to understand how capitalism operates, and especially in times like this. What happens when capitalism is threatened? Capitalism will always use force, and that's why you see the state machinery, you know, capturing people, torturing people, basically to sell fear. And then capitalism will also use its money to buy, and capitalism will use propaganda. So basically what we need to do, we need to be more united than ever right now at this point. And then we need to speak to our people and sensitize them on exactly what is happening. Then thirdly, we need to question ourselves as we formulate strategies. We know peaceful protest is a good strategy, and it's a marathon. Peaceful protest will take time. They'll try to kill you over and over until when they're drenched in blood, maybe that's when they'll give up. But usually they'll try to bring in a puppet to infiltrate who will take over and reformat the system back to factory settings, which is back to the original capitalism. So we need now to have a team that goes down and studies to get to understand the history of the conflict between the people and the capitalists. And historically, this conflict has only taken context in the backdrop of the socialists or the communists as a populace fighting against capitalist stooges who are being propelled and controlled by external forces. So now we need to go back, get to study the ideology, because we know the synthesis, we know the thesis, which is capitalism. We need an antithesis, which is counter-capitalism, to come up with a synthesis, which is a state that is desirable post-capitalism or post this exploitation. Now, I'll look at a few examples. When you see now these state people are talking about of late you've heard the term silent majority. That's a word they picked up from Uganda during the conflict, the campaigns between Bobi Wine and Museveni, the past election. So basically that's a propaganda tool, is to instill fear, to try and tell you like they have numbers. And then again, when you look at a thing like the ID, that again was borrowed from Uganda. In Uganda is where people renew IDs. And this can be a tactic used to disenfranchise the population, the youth, because they know we are many, and they know if we all get the voters' rights, we get the ID cards, we can easily get them off, or we can give them a run for their money, even though they will eventually want to manipulate the system. That's why those servers are placed in capitalistic states or the prior states. So you need to understand the whole system is rigged. So for us, we need to have an ideology that mirrors the counter-capitalism. I don't know if many understand the study of the ideological study of communism. But communism has proved to counter the propaganda of capitalism better, communism has been used to rally the masses into units, concrete units that resist the penetration and the propaganda of capitalism. So as you stated, as most stated, that we need to go back to our people, to our communes, basically, or what the Israelis will call the kibbutz, going back to our communities and educating them. Basically, you're walking that walk. So I want us to go back and study and understand what capitalism is and come up with an ideology, practical solutions that we need to begin implementing. A good example, again, I'll give you. When Fidel and his team were countering the dictatorship in Cuba, when they were in Sierra Maestra and all those the jungles, they still went and treated the poor people in the rural areas. And so what we have, basically what the Dr. Japrado was organizing, is also one of the moves, because you realize that the population, our people, have been denied deliberately health services. So we need now to move. As we move to educate our people, let it not only be words. Let's also move some of these services closer to them. And it is very easy because we are many. And us being many, we are wealthy in numbers. If each one of us can contribute just about 100 bob or 200 bob, and if the medical front, the medical corps, the ones under Japrado and the likes of Hanifa, we can organize. We can go down there. We can organize the logistics as we sell our ideology on the impending change that we need. We also have a practical movement, be it in health, be it in social education, be it in civic education. And that way, we slowly by slowly, you'll realize that we'll be building a counter system that goes against the current system, because now the hospitals are just shells. If you go to classrooms, basically they're more or less like shells. There's nothing working. So we need to look at this struggle from an economic, a social, and an ideological front. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, D. I totally agree with you that yeah, we still need to dig more information so that we know what exactly we are fighting against. Tunajua most of us, personally, I'm in the village, and I can tell you for free, so many youths, they don't really have an idea of what's going on. Na hata ile siku ya demos, hata ukiwauliza kwa nini wametokea, they didn't have an idea. They would tell you, I was collecting views. They would tell you, your finance bill iangushwe, and it worked anyway. So I think they need our influence. Hapa tumeanza like a movement. We shall be trying to do ground sensitization, civil education, trying to explain to our parents, anyone you come across, unajaribu kumwambia what's going on. But again, there are challenges. We have people, you know, there is still masculinity, there's still chauvinism in our communities. Kama mimi karibu nichapwe siku ingine, karibu nichapwe, I was really harassed for trying to explain about finance bill. So it's not an easy cause, but I believe if we do it collectively, we shall conquer. Okay.
So
So
basically, just to address one thing, just a minute. When we're moving, like in your case, where people exhibited some form of male chauvinism. Now this is what organization is called. When we are in our communes, we need to find like-minded youths. And when you're moving, we need to move with our scouts. For example, if you're moving to go and sensitize people on a bill, you need to have like 2, 3, 4, 5 comrades, so that also your security and your propagation of the message is represented. You know, when you're in numbers, when you're 2, 3, 4, 5 people, you're basically in like a military formation. The more the numbers, the better. So let's find in our communes like-minded people, and when we move to sensitize people, we move as a number, and that way, even when one speaks of a certain issue, the other one can speak of a certain issue, and the other on a certain issue. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're gonna try to do that. Next on the mic, we have KOT Sonko. Are you there?
Kirote, am I audible?
Yes, you can go on.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Kirote and Afro, for hosting this space. So the question is dialogue with the government. So I just want to ask you a question. The
Karibia
listeners,
Mike, uko mbali sana.
niko mbali sana, unanisikia?
Uko muffled.
Okay, so I just want to ask the listeners and the speakers who are on this space. How can you have a dialogue with a government that knows exactly the killer cop who shot dead Rex in cold blood? Yeah? Yet they are not going after that cop. They're only going after the freedom fighters. They're going after the peaceful protesters. Some of us are even living in fear, wondering, is this a nation or is this the time you try to speak out, this same government will try to silence you. And I'm really embarrassed by the opposition, because the opposition of this country, they only prioritizes their stomach. Yeah, whenever they come and speak for the interest of the citizens, they do it perfectly. But whenever they are called to the table with the government, they'll still go there and eat with them. Satisfied, they now forget the citizens of this country. And so that's one of the reasons why we as the Gen Z, we don't want the dialogue, because those people probably who will be on that table trying to dialogue with this rogue government, they'll get paid and they'll be compromised. So whenever we the large group try to speak out, they'll be used to come and try to calm us down. So this time round, I don't think if the dialogue can work, because that dialogue is for self-interest. What we really need to do, or what the government really needs to do, we want them to, we want to see the action. Like now we are saying that we have incompetent cabinet secretaries. They really need to be fired immediately. We are saying that probably the head of state need to go. He really needs to leave before 2027. Yeah, we're saying that we're saying that come 2027, or if we are going to have any general election soon, then most of the Gen Zs and the millennial, you people should not just come out to vote, but you also need to come out and contest for those elective seats, because I'm told you are the only person who can bring the change you want to see. So we really need to come out in large numbers to vote when that time of voting comes, and also we really need to come out to contest for these seats, because if we are not going to contest for these seats, then probably those people who have been in the government, in the opposition from early 80s, early 90s, they'll still come out and contest for those seats. And because we'll have no other option but to vote for them, then probably for the other next 5 years, we are still going to suffer, and we'll be cursing ourselves on why we elected such leaders. So at this point, we really need to show that we have the strength, we have the unity. You people, we need to come out and contest for these seats. Like we are saying, we want to occupy the parliament like the other day. In the next general election, let's occupy those parliaments as the members of parliament. Yeah? Let's even occupy the executive as the cabinet secretaries. Because that change will only come if we move united and contest for these seats. Don't look at yourself like in Kirote, you are a very strong woman. Yeah? You can even go for governorship in Meru. You can go for women rep. You can go for member of parliament. Yeah? So, guys, we want to be positive. And of course, when we call upon all the people to come out and have a peaceful protest, kindly let us come out in large numbers in those streets. Personally, I've been in the streets whenever the peaceful protests have been held. So, guys, I thank you for being united. We are tribeless, we are leaderless, and we are fearless. Thank you so much, the host Afro and the co-host Kirote.
Awesome. That was great from KOT. If you've not spoken, please raise your hand so that it will be easy for me to see you. Aha. Ayo, did you speak? Ayo, are you there? Am I clear?
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, we'll go with the next speaker. Honorable Timothy, there you go.
Okay, good morning. I hope all of you are fine. Okay, what I'll start with is tusipoamka tutaamshwa na tusipojipanga tutapangwa. So why am I saying this? Yes, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are.
Okay. So what we noticed yesterday at KSCC is...
All right. Can you hear Timothy?
Yes, we
Sorry?
can.
Yes, I can hear him.
All right, go on.
Sawa. Okay. So what we noticed yesterday at KSCC is the political class are regrouping again. They want to divide us into what we are used to the tribalist groups. What they realized is the movement that we have currently, they're tribeless, they are leaderless, they are fearless. How can they infiltrate us? One thing is they'll bring Baba on board, and then they work on like a united front. And the united front, basically they just want to divide us. And that's why you realize, for example, in Rift Valley, they'll start saying, oh, hawa wanataka kutoa mtu wetu kwa job. For example, when this Mithika Linturi was about to be impeached. Sorry. What did the people of Meru do? They had a press conference. They started saying, mtu wetu, mtu wetu. So basically, what mostly kills us as a country is tribalism. And then here comes another younger generation who are not into that. They believe in good leadership. They believe in change, and they want to bring change in our government. You see, and that's why they are fearing, because they know we will wipe them all out, starting with the president, RAILA, and all that, because they know the younger generation, they don't have a leader. So it's a matter of, we want better leadership, and this is what we want to do. See, when the president came to power, what I expected him to do was to cut the cost of running the government. But then what did he end up doing? He started creating offices which are non-constitutional. And all these offices needs funding. They need a budget. He increased the renovations. Why would you renovate the state house and still renovate state lounges? And you're never actually in the country. You see such things. Another thing which I'm realizing, currently people are struggling to get their IDs. You see? And I'm foreseeing a scenario where they realize the younger generation are against us. Do you know the people who are currently in high school, like almost all of them, by come 2027, will be eligible to vote? And they graduate in like roughly, let's say, 1.5 million, 1.5 million, 1.5 million. And for the Gen Zs and millennials currently, we are over 18 million. You see? So I'm foreseeing a scenario where currently it's hard for people to get their IDs. For people actually who applied for their IDs in Huduma Center, now it's becoming hard. Since January, they're not getting their IDs. I think they're foreseeing a scenario where this younger generation are against us. So what should we do? They'll start stopping the processing of the IDs, just like they do for the passports, so that to reduce the numbers of younger generation that will vote against them, and which I don't think is a good idea. And I think as of now, I think we are losing the focus, because we started really well. The pressure was on. I believe if the pressure we had put the one when we started the demos, by now I think RUTO will be out. Because the NATO countries, for example, is, let's say, that's something which you cannot deny, is the puppet of the West. But then the West, they believe in democracy, and when they have someone who is their puppet doesn't believe in democracy, it becomes an issue. So they seem like they are tainting their image. So basically, if we continue putting the pressure, I don't think even the US will be willing to associate with him again. So I must say, this is just the beginning of something great, and we need to continue fighting. We should not get tired, because if we get tired and then we allow them to divide us in our tribal lines again, trust me, in future or many years to come, we'll be saying, okay, we are almost changing the leadership and changing the narrative of leadership in our country, and we didn't do that. It's upon me and you to bring the change. Then goes to another issue of education. Currently in Kenya, education is becoming expensive, considering the new funding model and all that. Now, actually, I don't know how many parents will be able to afford education in Kenya. That's so wrong. I don't know why they removed the previous funding model. This current funding model, I can say, sorry to say, shit. Because I don't get the concept where education, even in government universities, will be expensive at some point, even compared to private unis, because now education now is heading to over 300K, depending on the course that you are doing, which I don't think is in order as a country. They are killing dreams of younger people. Because, for example, like, let's say Ruto himself, if he didn't get the education, and it was because of the funding model which was there, it was easier for them to have education. Why deny others another chance, an equal chance to pursue the education? That's when I will say equity, not equality, you see. And another point I've noted is this about the governors and all that. Currently, there's a bill which I saw somewhere a few months ago, where someone was suggesting that the current governors are not allowed to vie as senators for the period of like 5 years. What I'm realizing, or the trend that I'm noticing now, is governors come into office, then they loot the counties dry, and then what do they do to protect themselves? they decide let us vie us as senators, it will be hard for my fellow colleagues who are senators to start maybe the process of making me pay for all the corruption scandals she did. For example, one of the precedents I can say is this Mandago. Mandago, and I think someone Aliroba. I think Aliroba was also a governor and now he's a senator, if I'm not wrong. You see, these people are using these positions to come and cover themselves. And I think that's one thing. These are conversations which you should have. Where will you vie as a governor and then come down as a senator? So it means you're coming to protect the wrongs that you did when you were in power. The other day we saw the senators passed a bill which allows them to work with the government. Do you know what that means? That means, okay, like I mean to work with the government in contract form. So that means all the tenders, an MP can give himself or herself the tender. They won't be questioned. Currently they can do it, but indirectly. But now when that bill goes through and then the members of parliament also are the members of National Assembly also pass it, it means that also the MPs will be working with the government in forms of tenders openly without even hiding. So see, these people are more of their interests. You see, that's why I say we must dry the swamp. We must drain this swamp because most of the political class which you have today, I can see what we are experiencing nowadays is as a result of what they did a few years ago. Considering now, let's say for example, those who are in KICC, for years. You see, these people, you see, so what I'd urge us as a generation, as citizens, we should remain united. Tusikubali kugawanyishwa, because the moment you see they've brought Baba on board, this man is struggling with legitimacy. Ruto is struggling. If you are a person who can study the, what can I call, the faces and all that, if you compare the face that Ruto had yesterday while he was talking compared to the one last year, you notice that this person AKUNA stress. You see, so what does he do? He's struggling with legitimacy, so he'll bring someone on board and try to counter us, which still they're still wondering how they can counter us. That's why you can see Shalin Ruto, like last week, he had meetings with the 47, what do you call them, presidents of the student associations. They're trying each and everything to counter us. They don't know this is a young movement, a younger generation movement, citizens coming together, they're not being funded, they're asking for accountability, they don't want anything to do with corruption and all that. Now they're wondering how will they counter us? They have never been there before. Just like, for example, COVID. So, the first times of COVID, it also had people who were living in fear. They didn't know what to do. But then the more we continued in that COVID phase, people started being comfortable. And they're like, oh, bedhe naeza pata kitu na bado sitakufa. I need to do this and this. Now, currently, as we speak, now we're in that phase where the government is against a younger generation, a united people who they don't know how to deal with them. You see, and if we relax, with time they'll continue dividing us with time, because mostly the governments, I can say, they prosper in divide and rule. So if we don't continue uniting and continue injecting and pushing on, they'll find a way to counter us, and that's where now we will end, considering that 2027 will be coming. And then as a younger generation, we cannot continue pushing and fighting bad governance, and then come 2027 we are not there. So it's upon us to conduct the civic education, to conduct all this stuff, to ensure that all these people, because for example now people are bitter, we can say they are hungry and angry, they're bitter. So it means people are willing to come in large numbers, come 2027. But as we know, Kenyans are forgetful. So if you don't keep the tempo up, it means that these people will come and regain their, what can I say, their control. And then come 2027, it will be hard. We'll still be having the same issues that we're having currently. So we must remain tribeless, partyless, and fearless. For example, I saw people tweeting, hey, you people want to RUTO to go and all this. We have the likes of Okiya Mtata. We have many people. So never think of, if you want RUTO to go, who will inherit? No. It's never like that. If you want change, you want it so bad. Every people can, like many people can step up. So you don't need I don't know, to worry at, oh, if we do this, what will happen? No. When we start to bring change, we sweep everything. We need the change that we want. So if we don't do that, definitely sijui tutaenda wapi. I always struggle as a country which is struggling with the debt. Where will you pay an MP a salary and then also pay him a sitting allowance? What's his work? Honor. That's why I'm saying that I expected, in order to deal with the debt in Kenya, apart from now, they tax us, and then at the end of the day, we don't see the benefits of the tax that they are getting. For example, we had Finance Act 2023 because it was passed and then they enacted it. What are the profits, or what are the benefits of that Finance Act 2023? Nothing. All you can see right, left, and center is just looting, corruption written all over. So these are the things that we must have as a conversation, and we must change these narratives. Currently, he has the legislature. Our MPs have been turned into just voting machines. You see? So if we don't continue pressing on, these people will get comfortable, and then they'll have a strategy where they'll counter us and it will be done and dusted. We should never let that to happen. We shall still remain vigilant. I also don't get a point where this CDF, we have CDF, which the MPs portray that they give bursaries. And that's why even if we bring an agenda of they should scrap out this CDF, they'll always like go to the ground, waanze kusema hawa tunataka toe CDF, and this CDF is what we used to give them bursaries. You know, most people don't see the brighter future. If we scrap out this CDF, because every MP I think is given around 130 million. 130 million. If you count it to 290 constituencies, and then the government also invests in education. So if you add all this, you pull it together, that means education in Kenya will be free. Why not take the CDS from there? Because this is what they are using as a corruption tool. They take, let's say, cereals in order to pay for their school. You are making it even more tough for people to access the education. You see, and that's so wrong. It should never be that. You cannot always keep on. The reason as to why you say you travel abroad is because you are going to get jobs. Who told you that those people who are graduating in schools, they want to go and be employed abroad as house helps and all that? Who told you that? And then this person is encouraging brain drain. You can never tell me that the perfect brains, you're taking them out there to go and develop other countries. How about your country? As a president, you should never encourage brain drain, and that's what he's doing. This is a person who never had a plan. Is a person who rode on his campaigns on hatred, and all this time, that's what he's using. He didn't have even a plan. Let's go to the other thing. I don't know why even Baba came. This man is a person who never learns. Like last regime, he suffered because he was involved in the handshake. Now he's here, coming to join hands with Ruto. He will still suffer for the mess of this government. And come 2027, all of them, you should take them home. Hakuna haitakuwa ati sijui kila uchaguzi anakuja analia hapa, nimeibiwa. People lose their lives because of him. Anaenda ana negotiate for hapa na hapa, and then when he gets his deal, he forgets. For example, this NADCO report was as a result of him coming to dialogue with Ruto. Then who benefited? It's him. That's why now you see the government is funding for his AUC chair, African Union chairman position. Unaona? So we must stop all this. Na ndio maana unaona it's so hard for them now to know how to counter us, because we are leaderless. If we had leaders, it would have been easier for them to control us, but now they can't control us because we don't have leaders. Unaona? So my people, we must continue fighting as a nation. We must continue civic education. For example, like in Lamu, there is something called Lamu Youth Assembly. You know, I come from Lamu. So this is a group of youths. They have another whole structure. They have cabinet secretaries, they have MPs, they have the president and all that. They conduct civic education. Now we must conduct this civic education poll on the importance of good governance. Usitegemee handout. If an MP gives you 1,000 or the leaders give you 1,000, divide that into 5 years. Will the damage that will have cost compared to that 1,000 you received, is it worth it? Is it worth it? So we must conduct this civic education, right, left, and center. We must spearhead this. Twende huko hivyo shags, let's do this. Join with your fellow youths. Ona. Get people who have the interest of the people at heart as your leaders. Educate our people. You know, this our older generation, they were the process where they are like, okay, it's so wrong to I don't know, asijui anasemangaje, you should respect your leaders, but then they are forgetting your elders. They are forgetting here we are not respecting them. We are just demanding for accountability. Honor. So they have always lived in the fear. The leaders have always, and the politicians have infiltrated fear to them. So it's also upon us to sky as a younger generation to say we will stand this way. It's also upon us to educate them and tell them this is the right way. If we do this and this, it's affecting us. Sisi kwa sisi. Kama I doubt if they'll be on board with this government, even come 2027, if you tell them that this person are passing this land bill. You see, this land bill, it will really, really, really make people to suffer out here. People will lose their lands. And this one will be a form of people trying to grab people's land, because the cabinet secretary will be having the authority to recall the title deeds. So what does that tell you? These people are out here, they're crafting a plan to grab people's land. And it will happen. It will happen. If this thing goes through, it will happen. Just watch the space. So as a people, we need to bring, like, what's our agendas? What are the things that this government is doing? We highlight them. This, and this. So as we are fighting, we know we are fighting for this, and this. And then how do we need as a what do you call it? As a people who are fighting for their rights, where do we want to be? And where do we seek our country, Kenya, in a few years' time? We had Vision 2030. Even I don't think even that something will be actualized. It will still remain as a dream. Because I think even you have deviated from that. That was the plan of Kibaki. I don't think even we'll continue with that. I don't see a scenario where, for example, this time a batch of fertilizers came from Ethiopia. And then at the same time, it happened that during the floods, it led to a certain bridge on the Lamu road towards Gariseni, hiyo daraja ikavunjika. You could see Murkomen going to Lamu Port once in a while. The essence is because they need this these fertilizers of Ethiopians to go to Ethiopians. Why shouldn't the same energy come when you need to serve your people of Kenya? Why is it always because of other countries? They responded so swiftly and quick because of the benefit of another country. Mbona isikue this other fertilizer, mbona isikuje Kenya? Why when it comes to other countries donating fertilizers to Kenya, inaibiwa, you don't know even how it traces, and then it's scandal after scandal. They're benefiting themselves. No. At this point as a country, we need to change the narrative of that leaders are just there to come to loot and all that to benefit themselves. We need to change a narrative. And one of the things is because we have made elections also expensive. So these people, they form just like a group of people who come together, they fund each other, and then when they get to power, they benefit. Actually, all these cabinet secretaries are as a result of the part they played in the last election. That's why they are looting right, left and center, and they don't care. Because also the RUTO also knows I'll get my share, they'll get their share. No. This outgoing president, we must ensure he goes. And I'll end with saying RUTO must go. Thank you.
I think our hosts are having issues with the speakers, Afro and Kirote, if you can hear us. So we can be allowing different people to speak. And can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. So as maybe Kirote and Afro fixes that, I'll just take 5 minutes, then give the next person the mic. So I start from a point of first thanking everyone, Viva Freedom Fighters. For those who have retweeted the tweet pinned on the Jumbotron, our brother and friend Lewis is supposed to be in court just now, so I'm on my way there. And I think I start from what has been said before, where these guys should be very happy that what we are demanding for is accountability and not revenge. They have killed young people, and what we are demanding for is not revenge for them. If we demanded revenge, then they would be hiding right now. So we are only asking them to stick to the Constitution, to allow the Constitution to be the supreme law it is and guide their actions. And I hope that, and I think that is not a big ask, because that is what they were sworn into to do. So the time for dialogue is over. You can't dialogue with your abductor, then that becomes you live in an abusive relationship. We have people who have looted our country to where we are today, and I believe before even we move forward, it's you return the loot. We are not even asking for anything more. Return what you've taken from the country, because it's our public resources that you're draining, and as you drain them, as we drain the political mess, we need to make sure that we squeeze them enough to return the loot so that we fix our country. We cannot continue educating the sons and daughters of our country only to be led by fools. Every time we go to school, every time we have professionals, we end up being led by fools, political class that does not understand where the country needs to go. And they keep telling us that we need to dialogue. We can't dialogue with fools because they don't understand the direction we need to take as a country. We don't trust them to fix this nation. Why? You cannot send a thief to catch a thief. When you talk about corruption, we are talking about corruption at the core. The people in power today are the corrupt. So when they ask us to dialogue on how to fix corruption, how do we trust them to fix a problem they have created? So I like the conversation that has shifted now away from just one institution of presidency to multi-sectoral, where we are now fixing every sector of this nation. Engineers are demanding accountability, doctors are demanding accountability. So narrative. So now that Kibaki benefited us with free education and we learned on how to study true history, we know what it means to neocolonialism means, what IMF represent, what World Bank represents, and will not allow this institution to keep making our country go down the drain. Now, the last point they have talked about, and I think this is a line that they want to divide us along tribal lines. They forgot about intermarriages, where if today you're on this space, you are either a pure breed of one tribe or from different tribes. So when they say it's, for example, the community I come from, Meru being targeted, I might be a Meru partly, but then I'm not Meru entirely. So intermarriage has worked, and now the generation that got out of that intermarriage is telling them, we want better leadership. We don't care which community you come from. We want better leadership. We can't have Mithika Linturi selling the fake fertilizers to our farmers, deeming that's a terrorist. Actually, Mithika should be hanged in public. Why? Because he made sure that the economy of this country does season. So I think once they understand that, and that conversation I see them going around, it's good now they have grouped themselves. They have taken the clothing off, and now we see the wolves inside. We kindly keep retweeting the pinned tweet so that our brother can be let out of prison. And thank you very much for being freedom fighters. Thank you. And the next speaker can come up, I think, as Afro and Kirota fixes their mic. Thank you very much.
Hello. I just want to share a few things in the next few minutes. Because I've been on since the meeting started, and I think my battery is running quite low. So basically, I just want to encourage everybody. Now, personally, I've had an experience because I'm one of those guys. Actually, I got abducted, and later on, I was dumped somewhere in Turbo. I had to find myself basically back to Nairobi. Very much concerned. Now, when you look at education, number one, education is changed its education system from the 17th century. So the only thing they do is that they work on the contents. But in Kenya, there's something that our government is very good at. They come up with different names. Because now, like for example, when they talk of CBC, they are talking of competence-based curriculum. Does it mean that the other curriculum was not competent? Because I believe that nearly all of us on this particular platform, we benefited from that particular curriculum. And I thought basically what they were just supposed to do, they were supposed to address a few issues in terms of revising the content, doing away with probably areas that are irrelevant, and fixing some of the things that needed to be fixed to be able to improve the system, but not changing the structure, or rather coming up with a name that looks attractive, but nothing is happening. Because when they talk about developing talents, look at the public schools, for example. There are talents that they seem to be telling us that this education will fix. But when you look at the facilities, if you ask yourself, how many public schools have got facilities like swimming pools? How many public schools have got facilities like probably theaters where these particular kids could be able to learn about performing arts and all that? So those things are not there. And the same people who came up with this particular system, they have got their children attending education in the international schools that have maintained a system that has been there since independence. Now, why did they do that? Their aim was to kill the public education system, basically to ensure that it's only the children of the rich who will go through these other international schools that will come and benefit and take over, because they are likely to have gained some quality education at the end compared to the children of the ordinary Kenyans. So to me, one of the things that we really need to reclaim, the reason why we have to reclaim Kenya and get these guys out of offices, that we need to get our education system back. You remember at one point the president, when he was campaigning, he had said that they are going to do away with the CBC, but what happened? Immediately
Anyone here, Frick, or have you dropped?
Amesema point ingine poa sana about us as young people, or as people who are agitating for changes, to take this chance also to take the leadership of this nation. So I think moving forward also we have to be, well, in whatever spaces we are in, maybe in our workplaces, in our villages, in our homes. We have to teach our people about not when they are voting in people, they should not consider handouts, or in fact such people should not be given attention. Wale watu wanakuja na handouts ama na unga ndio wapate votes. I think those are the people that should be discouraged to participate in our politics, so that our politics become issue based. We become like we focus on the changes or the systematic issues that can benefit all people, not tribal cocoons or just issues of tokens. I think those are the issues that also bring a lot of corruption. Educating our people in our villages, in our workplaces, we just inform people about the best way to choose leaders. And also as young people also we rise up and take up, even if you will lobby for support from, if you to fund your campaign. I think we've demonstrated that it is possible to kuchangia msee na tufanye kozi iko poa. So I think that is my input, and I hope as we go forward we can rise up and remove these old guards from their positions. Thank you. I'm done.
Days in a year can feed the populace, whereas this place is like they have or we have winter. Late September, then it's done. Yet we don't have people begging for food here. We don't have people begging for education. By the way, education is free. By free meaning from the day the kid is born, even if they want to do PhD or whatever else they want to do. So that should tell you schools, because that is the biggest scam that ever came to existence. For example, I'll still base an example with this country because I have observed a lot. They don't have private schools here, and if they do, there are a few staying or something school that teach in English. of education, they have the same